Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, an online community for people who are curious, want to learn new things and improve themselves in different ways. It includes classes on numerous topics, including guitar playing and music production. I'll never learn it! Have you ever had that experience? I have. I thought I would never learn it. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I did learn it and how you can learn it, how you can learn more and faster. Hello and welcome to another video with me, Elmo Karjalainen. It's good to have you along. You can call me this guy. Today I'm talking about how you can get further in your guitar playing faster. This is part 5 or 6 of how I learned to play guitar. A series which basically is dedicated to helping you with your guitar playing. Now I'm sure most of you have had that experience that I had or showed in the beginning, where you're trying to learn something, you get so frustrated and you think it will never happen. I've had that numerous times. I've wanted to throw this old thing out the window. Well, not this particular one, but you know what I mean. And I've thought I would never get to anything, anywhere at all. Again, like in the last video, I do have to say I consider myself to be lucky, and it's not really through any conscious thought patterns or anything like that that I've done the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. I've kind of just lucked out, at least in certain respects. So first I'm going to talk about the first obstacle to learning, which I see all the time because I work, I think it's called middle school in English. I teach 13 to 16-year-olds, I teach music. And I see this all the time. And then I'm going to talk about some things that you can do to hasten your learning, make your learning faster, make it more enjoyable. But the first thing is belief, or rather lack of belief. People think that they can't learn. People think that if, let's say, you look up to a certain guitar player who's very well known, you can take anyone. You can take Gary Moore, you can take Steve Lukather, Jeff Beck, Yngwie Malmsteen, Kirk Hammett, whatever. And you think that's so far beyond me, I will never get there. If you think that, you're absolutely right. You will never get there. Personally, I never had that. I actually never thought about it. I never thought about can I get there or not. I just kind of did. You need to either have the belief that you can do it or don't think about it. If you're watching this video, you will be thinking about it, so you need to start thinking that you can do it. And I will show you how you can do it in this video. But like I said, I see this all the time at work with kids who say, I can't, so I won't. So they won't even try because they've already decided that they can't do it. Or kids giving it a bit of a go for 5 minutes, and it's like this. Whatever they're playing, that's, and they're playing it like. They do that for a few minutes or whatever else, and they give up because it's hard. It is hard, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun. Looking back on my years when I was really learning, those are some of the best times of my life. Skipping school, staying at home, unbeknownst to my parents, sitting around doing this. That kind of thing, or whatever I was practicing. It was really difficult, and I did want to quit occasionally because I got so frustrated, but I got back on that proverbial horse. Before we go on, I'd like to give a shout out to Skillshare, the sponsor of today's video. They've plenty of material for a beginner or intermediate guitarist to learn from, such as Music Theory 101 for Guitar by Henry Olsen. It's over 5 hours of material, so there should be quite a lot of stuff there, even if you're an intermediate guitar player, to get you further down that road of learning to play the guitar. Personally, I've been taking a look at something called Filmmaking for All, Tell Your Story Through Video by Don Mace to improve the content on this channel, and it's really interesting stuff. So there's a lot of stuff there for everyone. Doesn't have to be guitar playing or music, it can be almost whatever. Also, Skillshare is curated for learning, so there are no ads, and it's continually being updated. So check out Skillshare via the link in the description and get a 1-month free trial. Now, if you get frustrated, like I say to my students sometimes, put down your instrument, go outside and scream at the top of your lungs, scream all the curses you know, whatever, I don't care, as long as you come back and you sit down and you start over. Keep coming back to it. If you get frustrated, do not give up. Take the rest of the day off if you have to, but come back. Always come back to it, because you will always progress if you come back to it. And this is where we get to how you can progress faster. So that was belief. You need to have belief, or at least not think about, is it possible or not. Now, I mentioned a few guitar players there, and it could be any old guitar player. You want to become the best in the world, but you think you can't do it. But there are certain things that you can do to improve your chances to get as far as possible, as quick as possible. So let's take someone like Gary Moore, who can seem like it's impossible. I will never get to what he does. Now, Gary Moore had a bit of speed. He wasn't a huge shredder, but he had some chops. And it can seem impossible. And this is point number 2 of this video. So belief was 1. This is point number 2. Set goals. So you set a big goal, and it has to be something that's not vague, like I want to be the best guitar player in the world. Says nothing, but because there are so many different styles and whatever. Pick a name, or pick a few names, but make sure that they're kind of at least related to each other. And those names can change during your life, but at least have a clear path to where you're going. You can change that path later on if you want, but have a path. And when you have that path, let's say it's Gary Moore, you can break that down into smaller bits. And this is where it gets manageable. You no longer have to think about Gary Moore, because it's not Gary Moore. He's not the day-to-day. Today I will practice to be like Gary Moore. No, that's not what you do. What you do is, today I'll practice, let's say this. And so on. So you have that as one thing. You have bends. Gary Moore's bends and vibrato were spots on. And there are so many different things that you need to know to be able to learn or to be able to play like Gary Moore. But let's take this one. This is easy. So now we have belief, goals, and number 3, measure your progress. So this is easy because you use one of these. It's very easy to measure your progress with a metronome if you're doing something that you can measure or you can measure speed. So this is very simple. When you measure your progress, let's say you can do 120 beats per minute, you can do 16th notes like that, then you're automatically given your next goal, which is the next number on the metronome. On this it's 126. So that would be your next goal. So you're breaking it down into small, manageable chunks. And you will still get frustrated. Believe you me, you will. But it'll be easier to handle. That's the whole idea. You break it down into small bits that you can handle. Now, like I said, it's easy to measure progress with a metronome. How do you do it with something like bends? You listen. Now, it's a bit different listening to yourself while you're playing. It's a bit more difficult because you're doing something where you have to concentrate on the whole technical side of it. But record yourself, especially these days. I mean, you have phones and all that. You just put your phone on the desk and click record. You play some bends. And that way you'll hear what you do. Let's say you do it on a Monday, 1 week, you practice for a week and you record yourself again the next Monday, and you hear if there's been any progress. And slowly but surely, if you practice, there will be progress. And you will hear that progress, and you will have a new goal. And you will also find belief from the fact that you noticed that progress. Same with the metronome. It all goes back to belief. And once you get more belief, you will get more momentum, and you will eventually, you'll just end up further. I mean, I cannot stress enough the importance of setting goals and measuring progress. You don't have to be super systematic about this, although it can help, and you don't have to write down your goals, although that can help. It depends on the sort of person you are. You don't have to spend every minute with a metronome. You can just do 15 minutes 2 times a week, for instance, and the rest of the time just go. You can even do this while watching The Simpsons. Although that's not the best practice out there because it's not intensely focused. And that's one last point. Make that practice intensely focused. Like I said, you can use your telephone to record yourself. But otherwise, I would advise you to turn off all notifications, at least for the time that you're practicing, or leave your phone in a different room and make sure that you are not disturbed. Regardless of how long it is you practice, make sure that that practice is intense. And it doesn't have to be 6 hours of intense practice. Start with 15 minutes. Work your way up to 20, to 30, to 1.5 hours. And that's fine. If you don't want to do more than 1.5, that's fine. I would say it's better to do 1 hour of intense practice than 3 hours of just... So stick to one thing at a time, at least to a certain extent. When you get frustrated, you can do something else for a while, like I do this. When I'm practicing, let's say this. And I'm right at my upper limit and I get frustrated, I start doing something else for just half a minute or so. And then I go back to, okay. Broadly speaking, stick to one thing, do it intensely. When you get frustrated, do something else for just until you, okay, now I can do it again. And yeah, so just to recap, believe in yourself, set goals, measure your progress, practice with concentration, leave distractions aside. And when you do that, you will progress, which you will notice when you measure progress, which will in turn give you belief. You will get further, you will get faster. That's basically how I did it. That's basically how I've done most of my learning on guitar. I mean, you do learn stuff accidentally, you do learn stuff in different ways, but that's the core of how I learned to play. Basically, just through dumb luck. But if you can draw some benefit from me just being lucky, absolutely brilliant. I hope this helps you. If you want to check out some of my music, there's a playlist here. There's also a playlist with the rest of this series if you want to check out those videos. Click like if you liked the video, comment, let me know what you thought. Subscribe if you haven't already, hit that bell notification thing, and join me on Patreon because you get access to all of my music, my lessons, exclusives. You can take that stuff for free. There's a link in the description. I hope you have a nice day. Take care. Bye!